Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman. And as your wise man, I'm here to bestow upon you the wisdom that you're listening to Punks Talk Wrestling.
1, 2, 3, 4. Welcome to Punks Talk Wrestling! On this episode, we go from the end of Global Force through their rebrand to Impact and the relaunch of the TNA brand name as we wrap up the history of the TNA World Championship. I am RW Hellborn, the PA Rock Prince, hailing quote-unquote from Philly! And I am one half of the Crown, which is one half of your Punks Talk Wrestling Inter-Universal Tag Team Podcast Champions of the World! Now, then, and forever by my side, 3,500 miles away in London, England. He is my tag team podcast partner. He is the other half of the Crown, which is the other half of your Punks Talk Wrestling Inter-Universal Tag Team Podcast Champion of the World. Mr. Did You Know, Sir King of Reels, the proper prick, C.J. Newman!
Did you know that in the entire title history of the TNA Championship, and this goes for both the NWA period of TNA and just the TNA period of TNA, there have only been 10 people to hold both the TNA Championship and either the WWE Championship or the World Heavyweight Championship. You have 2 minutes. I'm giving you 2 minutes. A long time. You've got 2 minutes to name all 10 superstars that have won both the TNA Championship and either a WWE or World Heavyweight Championship. Go.
Well, Nick Nemeth is one, obviously.
Yep, boom.
Kurt Angle, first.
Yep.
10? Jesus. AJ Styles.
Yep.
Well, not Kenny Omega. He's
Uh-oh.
Is it including like the WCW World Heavyweight?
No, not WCW. Just WWE World Heavyweight Championship and the WWE Championship.
That's what I mean. The WWE's WCW World, like that world
the big
title.
gold belt,
the big gold belt.
Not the WCW version of it. Yeah.
The WWE version of it. Yeah.
Yes.
Jeez. Oh, Jeff Hardy.
And Jeff Hardy, yeah.
Jeff Hardy was one. Not including NXT?
Not including NXT. 1 minute, 55 seconds left.
How many was that?
You have 6. You've got 4. There's 6 more.
Oh, Jesus. I mean, we literally just went through all of these guys. Oh, shit.
Oh, man.
Mick Foley.
Yeah, Mick Foley.
Also, Rob Van Dam was one.
Yep. Got 4 more. You got 20 seconds.
Did Samoa Joe ever win the...
Nope.
No, Samoa Joe didn't.
Nope.
Sting was never a WWE champion.
Nope. You got 10 seconds.
Oh, fuck. AJ, I've already said AJ Styles. Bobby Lashley.
Bobby Lashley, yeah.
I already
3,
said that.
2, 1. Yeah, cool. Boom.
How about? Oh, fuck.
missed 3.
Alberto Del Rio was another one. Fucking
yeah,
Alberto.
so it's Alberto Del Rio. Do you want to try and guess the other two while we're just on a whim here?
Was it John Morrison? Because John Morrison won the world title once, right?
Nah, no way.
He never
won
did?
the ECW championship.
Oh, he was the
but I don't count
ECW.
that shit.
You're not. That's right. We're not counting the ECW championship.
Yeah.
The
two more.
Christian.
Yeah, Christian
was a
one
world.
more.
Christian was a world champion.
And this one's probably like the most recent person to be both.
Well, that was Nick Nemeth. That was the most recent is.
Oh, well, I guess Nick Nemeth, but the most recent WWE world champion is Drew McIntyre.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I'm sorry. Drew's gonna claymore me for missing that one.
Well, you got 7.
I got pretty good.
7 out of 10 there.
Yeah, and
It's not too bad.
yeah, that wasn't too bad.
With that, how's about for the very last time we talk about the TNA World Championship history?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we are. This will be the third part in our series here of our history of the TNA World Championship.
Yeah.
And so I feel like first episode went from 2007. So we're going from. I mean, if you're on part 3, I'm sure that you've already listened to part 1 and 2. I don't know why you're just suddenly joining at part 3. But we're all the way up till 2017.
We are in 2000 end of 2017 into 2018. I believe we either ended
Eli
with
Drake.
Yeah. Eli Drake had won the title in a 20-man gauntlet for the gold match.
Yeah.
It was vacated. Alberto El Patron was the previous champion. It was vacated due to his suspension. Which I believe we all know why, and fuck him. But yeah, so we've got Eli Drake, as the Global Force Wrestling Global Championship champion.
Yeah, so
The GFW
so it was a 20, as you say, the
Championship.
20-man gauntlet for the gold match. Drake, where it's obviously a gauntlet match. He pinned Eddie Edwards to win the match. The championship took the GFW Global Championship name while retaining the TNA World Heavyweight Championship history.
Yes.
And then August 24th, which is less than a week after, or just about a week after Eli Drake won the championship was renamed the Impact Global Championship. So this is where...
was it during his reign, or was it during the next? Oh, yeah, no.
During his reign.
Oh,
yeah.
Impact Global Championship. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is where TNA changed their name from TNA Wrestling to Impact Wrestling.
Right.
So that was during 2018, the start of 2018. So
yeah,
January 2018, Austin Aries. Here we go. Obviously an episode on tape delay, so this actually aired on television on February 1st. And it was during this title reign that the championship then took the name of Impact World Championship. So they got rid of the global part. So once again, the name changed for what is like the third time in like
in
3 or 4 months.
Yeah. Which
or probably more than that in about a year.
Yeah.
So that was Austin Aries, January 10th, 2018, and that was his second title reign, 102 days. And here comes Pentagon Jr.
Yeah. Good old Penta.
Which I actually, Penta. I always forget that Penta actually held the Impact Championship.
Well, he only held it for 2 days.
He did only hold it for 2 days, and that was in a triple threat match between him, Austin Aries, and Ray Phoenix, his brother. Well, Phoenix, as he was known in TNA
Phoenix.
or Impact at the time.
And they are actual brothers, correct?
They are actual brothers, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think Phoenix is the younger brother. I think he's 34, and then Penta is like 40.
Oh, you know what we got tonight? So
what you got? Yeah, what you got?
No longer generic seltzer. Today,
oh shit!
Today I am drinking Waterloo sparkling water, cherry limeade.
Waterloo. Oh, you've had this before.
I have. I've had it a few times. Waterloo.
Yeah, because that's when we've gone on to talk about Waterloo.
Yes, and then Waterloo, Iowa is also where the band The Rumors, who I've been working with, are from. So shout out to The Rumors once again. I'll be going out with them again in June. June, it looks like.
Oh yeah. Oh shit! Yeah, just after I get back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, literally. Well, you get back, and I leave for a month.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have some interesting. We'll figure out. I mean, this episode is probably going to air while you're away.
This is definitely airing while I'm in the middle of Asia somewhere. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So
hi
from Asia.
Yeah, hello, future Chris, when you're listening to this, because you'll be bored on one of your long trips between two different countries. So then that was April 22nd, and as you say, so he won the championship on April 22nd, lost it 2 days later in real life, but they didn't air until May 23rd. But it says that his reign was only 2 days, so we're just going to go with that. So 2 days later, he loses the championship for Austin Aries. Into Impact Under Pressure.
Now, what I believe from the way that they're, I don't know what network they were on at the time, but from what I understood, and I think I brought this up in either episode 1 or episode 2, which by the way, this is where we recorded episode 1 and 2 on the same day. But this is the third part we are recording separately. This came after a
week later, yeah.
Yeah, after the Elimination Chamber review. Just for people that want to get, this is airing on tape delay.
Yeah, this is post John Cena heel turn.
Yeah, but I don't think I don't think that this I think they made it known, like it wasn't like they aired it on tape delay but pretended like it wasn't on a tape delay. Like I'm pretty sure they blatantly were like this might have aired on May 31st, but it happened April 24th. Like the dates, I'm pretty sure that's how TNA worked. Now, anyone feel free to correct me if I am wrong. I could be incorrect about this. I would be surprised. But yeah, Impact Under Pressure. That was, I guess. Oh, it was a special episode of Impact, so it was just.
Oh, there you go.
See,
cool.
I thought they're doing the thing that they're doing the thing that NXT was doing too, where they have like.
Yeah.
A couple of special editions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So Austin Aries. Austin Aries,
3-time champion now. And this unified the Impact World Championship with the Impact Grand Championship. Now,
yeah.
What's the Impact Grand Championship?
What is the Impact Grand Championship?
Let me tell you, because I don't know either.
No, I didn't know until we got to this part of the Wikipedia page.
Yeah. The championship was introduced on August 13th, 2016, and it was after the then TNA president Billy Corgan announced the TNA King of the Mountain Championship would be deactivated and retired in favor of a new championship.
That's right. I totally forgot Billy Corgan was involved with TNA back then too, or Impact, or whatever. TNA. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
There was an 8-man single elimination tournament that would feature the new rules that would apply to the title. The new rules would be similar to how bouts were contested in professional wrestling in Europe, in which each match would consist of 3 timed rounds. So it's basically
it was the Heritage Cup.
Yes, the Heritage Cup before the Heritage Cup was the Heritage Cup. Yeah.
And that's a real thing in England. too, right? Like
yes, yeah.
For other professional wrestling, and I guess other fighting things.
Yeah. So I mean, I'll very quickly go through this championship. We don't need to too much, but
no, because there weren't a whole lot. We'll do a fast rundown.
Yeah, but the very first champion was actually Aaron Rex, which was Damian Sandow.
Yeah, the savior of the unwashed masses.
That's right. And then we had Moose,
also known as Mizdow.
Mizdow, yeah. Aaron Rex, then Moose, Drew Galloway, Moose again. Then it was renamed the Global Force. Then it was under the Global Force Wrestling banner. I don't know what they called the championship at that point. And
I guess it was still Matt Sydal. The same thing, yeah.
Yeah, then Josh Matthews, that's right, the commentator.
Wow,
he was gifted the championship. Yeah, because he was gifted the championship by Matt Sydal after he's revealed as Matt Sydal's spirit guide. That's a storyline.
I mean, hey.
And then, Austin Aries. So then Austin Aries and...
well, a lot of people... Real quick, though. I mean, a lot of people don't... they probably don't remember. Josh Matthews was... he was a contestant on NXT. The original NXT.
No, on Tough Enough.
Or on Tough Enough. He was a Tough... Yeah, he was a Tough Enough contestant.
Yeah, the big memory I have of Josh Matthews was when he was a commentator for WWE for a while. He was also a backstage interviewer as well. And I remember when Undertaker was in a rivalry with Randy Orton, and Josh Matthews was like possessed by the Undertaker and spoke like the Undertaker. Do you remember that?
No.
It was
no.
I
do not.
His eyes like roll back into his head, and he speaks and obviously like mimed whatever Undertaker said, and they just played Undertaker's voice, and like Randy Orton played it off as if like the Undertaker was talking through Josh Matthews.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a real waiting to happen. So
there you go. Yeah, man, that is a real shout out to Josh Matthews being. Well, I guess
possessed by the Undertaker.
Yeah, probably the first person to be possessed in WWE,
and last probably.
Yeah. Well, that's Well, I don't know, because I mean Bray Wyatt would. I would think, was Bray Wyatt possessed by the Fiend, or was the that wouldn't really be considered a possession. That was an alter ego, right? That's
an alter ego. Yeah.
Yeah, it might be right. Like pure just possession. He's talking through somebody else. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Austin Aries, that would be a 173-day championship reign, and then on October 14th, 2018, Bound for Glory, Johnny Impact, formerly known as John Morrison and a million different other aliases.
John Morrison and Johnny Blaze and Johnny Caballera and Johnny Elite and Johnny Fusion, Johnny Hardy, Johnny Impact, Johnny Mundo, Johnny Nitro, Johnny Spade, Johnny Superstar, Johnny TV, and various other ring names, according to Wikipedia. Shout out to Wikipedia, support Wikipedia. You know what's funny?
Last time, it's great.
You know what's funny?
I feel like every time you mention his name, you're going to have to do that.
I have to. Interesting enough, John Morrison, he was trained by Al Snow, Bill DeMont, and Ivory, and also Josh Matthews.
Oh, because he was on Tough Enough.
Yeah, he was also on Tough Enough.
Yeah, I always forget that he was on Tough Enough.
Yeah, he's a freaking Tough Enough guy.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because he's had a great career. He's probably, out of the Tough Enough guys, I would say that he's probably had the most successful career, right?
Probably. I mean, dude, who else was...
I mean, the only ones I can note of are, like, obviously Maven. Ryback was a Tough Enough guy.
Was he Tough Enough, or was he the original NXT?
Oh, he was in NXT. No, I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But who am I thinking of? Boogeyman. Boogeyman was Tough Enough. But I gotta say,
Matt Morgan.
Has to be the most
Matt Morgan
successful.
was a Tough Enough guy. Jackie Gata was a Tough Enough guy.
Yeah, but I think John Morrison's got to be the most successful.
I think so. I think after considering the amount of success.
The Miz. What am I talking? No, the Miz is the most successful Tough Enough guy.
Jesus Christ! Well, how can we forget the Miz?
Jesus Christ! What am I talking about?
Yeah, next to the Miz.
Wow. Well, so it's quite apropos that they were in a tag team with each other. They're the two most successful Tough Enough guys.
Yeah, wow. How did we not...
How did we glaze over that? Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Chris Nowinski was also a Tough Enough guy. Maven.
Yeah.
Maven was.
Maven.
Nydia. They were pretty good. Who else? I'm just really quickly. Yeah, that's pretty much all I can think.
Pretty much it, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Johnny Impact, 196-day
yeah.
title reign, and then he would lose that championship to Brian Cage at Rebellion on April 28th, 2019.
Didn't know Brian Cage was wrestled in TNA at that time.
Neither did I. And Lance Storm was the special guest referee of that match.
Yeah,
for some reason.
Because it was in Toronto, maybe.
Well, yeah, probably.
And it was probably something for Lance Storm. They probably asked him if he wanted to special guest referee a match, and he's like, yeah. Because Lance Storm is that kind of guy that if you ask him to do something and you're going to pay him to do it, he'll probably do it. I mean wrestling related.
Yeah. Sami Callihan, who had not too long been finished with NXT at this point, because who was he? His name in NXT was Solomon Crow, if you remember Solomon Crow.
No, I do not.
No. Well, he went to Impact shortly after and was called Sami Callihan, and he would win the Impact Championship in a steel cage match that would air on tape delay once again, October 29th.
He seems like one of
only
these
a
guys.
few days afterwards.
He's one of these guys, Callahan. Like, I don't know much. I really don't know much about him at all because he's really never done. He didn't do a whole lot in the WWE that I saw. But he's been everywhere, and he's done a whole.
He has been everywhere,
ton of
and
stuff. Like his name pops up all the time.
Yeah, he's in a lot. You know, he's been in TNA, he's been in MLW.
I mean, let me just run down. Like for a guy that I don't know, but this is all stuff that I never really watched or saw. Absolute Intense Wrestling, one-time tag team champion, All American Wrestling, AAW heavyweight champion, 3-time AAW heavyweight champion. A1 Outer Limits champion, CZW Iron Man New Horror champion, CZW Ultraviolet Underground, CZW World Junior Heavyweight, CZW Best of the Best, KOD Open Weight champion, Hog Crown Jewel championship. I don't know, House of Glory. I don't know. I don't even know who that. There's so many. These are so many like indie promotions that I've never heard of.
Yeah, but if you go through real quick, it's like he's NWA, and like then you look at he's been in MLW, he's been in PWG, he's been in
Force One,
New Japan Pro Wrestling,
Jersey All Pro Wrestling, Lucha Underground.
Yeah, Dragon Gate USA. He's been in Evolve. He's been in obviously WWE Combat. Yeah, CZW, Ring of Honor at the early days.
Rockstar Pro Wrestling. I didn't even know was a thing.
Everywhere.
Doesn't even have a.
He's been everywhere.
Some of these don't even have their own Wikipedia pages.
Yeah.
But
yeah, he's been around the block a few times.
Yeah.
He's been around
the block and he don't give a fuck. Just like that's,
Impact.
That's a line from Philly Skyline.
Oh. I was like, what's that from?
Yeah.
But you told me. Sami Callihan won the Impact Championship. Steel cage match.
Yeah.
Then we had Tessa Blanchard.
Yeah, we were going to get to this. This was good. I knew this was going to come up. Tessa Blanchard becoming the first woman to hold the champion. Obviously, probably aside from China in the WWE, the first woman that I am aware of. I'm sure there's probably others, but like traditionally a men's only championship.
Certainly. I mean, I don't know for sure, but certainly one of the only women to win the main championship of a company.
Yes,
she won the heavyweight championship.
Yeah. This was their main title. I'll be honest. I never got to see her in before this, and for all intents and purposes, all I ever heard was that she's a fantastic wrestler, that she's exceptional in the ring.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, around this time period, I couldn't go anywhere without hearing about Tessa Blanchard.
Yeah,
she was a huge star. She was a buzz about her, and obviously this this incident here like really killed her career. And until she came back to TNA, I just hadn't heard about her at all. I didn't even know what she was doing with herself.
Yeah. Well,
So-
as we see that a few months later, this is the pandemic happened, and she missed a bunch of tapings due to COVID-19 travel restrictions. Contract was terminated by Impact Wrestling, and she was stripped of the title. Now, I don't know if those things happened simultaneously. I honestly don't remember when.
They did. Because if you remember, during 2020, within the wrestling community, there was a bit of a Me Too movement within professional wrestling. If you remember that, a lot of wrestlers got called out on their bullshit.
Yes, yeah, there was a lot of.
So he was. She was stripped of the championship, and off she went. Then they had a 5-way elimination match involving Eddie Edwards, Ace Austin, Trey, Rich Swann, and Eric Young at Slammiversary, July 18th, 2020. And Eddie Edwards would become the 2-time Impact champion. Impact. So weird having to call it an Impact champion now, but Impact World Champion. Only to hold that 28 days to, obviously, around this time of returning Eric Young. He had just not long left the WWE at this point because he was part of Sanity.
Yeah, in TNA. Oh, God, I love that group. That was... Nikki Cross was also...
Nikki Cross was in Sanity. That's how she was introduced to the company,
Yeah.
So, Eric Young would win the championship in an episode of Impact. This on tape delay once again, September 1st, 2020. Only a 70-day title reign, only to be defeated by Rich Swann. Again, someone who had just been released from WWE.
Yeah.
I guess we had a little string here again of giving the championship to people that had just been released by the company.
Well, it seems it's smart. These guys, and they were released. This was during the pandemic, so he was released. One of many people that were released in WWE during the pandemic. And I think. I was just looking at his Wikipedia page real quick to see if there was where was the. It's weird because the Wikipedia page does not have it in like a linear progression here. I don't know. It's weird because it's saying that he was in TNA, Impact Wrestling TNA 2018. They don't even have his WWE. Oh wait, WWE to 2018. Oh, so he was.
Oh, he was released a few years prior.
Okay, this was not a pandemic thing. He, Cruiserweight. He was part of the Cruiserweight Championship. Yeah. Oh. Wait. He was really just kind of.
Oh right, I see why he was released.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you saw that, right?
Yes. Yep. See, well, yeah, he got released because of Yep. Anyway, you can go to Wikipedia if you want to know.
Yeah, pretty much. Rich Swann would win the championship October 24th, 2020. At Sacrifice, at Bound for Glory. But it says at Sacrifice on March 13th, 2021, Swann defeated Moose to unify the Impact Championship and the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Now, what's the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, you ask? Well,
what is the TNA World Heavyweight Championship?
It was an incredibly short-lived championship, and I still can't quite understand it. It was as part of a storyline in April 2020. Moose began to refer to himself as the TNA World Heavyweight Champion and carrying around the title belt, that last represented the championship before it became known as the Impact World Championship. And on February 23rd, May 20... Was
he carrying the physical belt, like the actual physical-looking belt?
The physical-looking belt.
Okay.
On the February 23rd, 2021, Impact officially sanctioned Moose's TNA World Heavyweight Championship as a separate title for the Impact World Championship. And then Scott D'Amore, who was the vice president of Impact at the time, claimed that the championship carried the lineage of the title formerly known as the TNA World Heavyweight Championship.
Oh,
but how much of that lineage was unclear. It would be short. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm seeing this because this is also during 2020. This is when Tessa Blanchard had the title, but she missed all the COVID tapings and all of the other stuff was coming out. So the current title, the title we're talking about was MIA for a while because it was in Tessa Blanchard's possession.
No, because
right?
because the TNA World Heavyweight Championship had not been used at this point since 2017. It got rebranded to the Impact Championship Wrestling.
Yeah, but I mean that the championship that Tessa Blanchard carried, she wasn't at any of these tapings, so the champion was not the champion was not visible. Right?
March,
I guess.
Well, no, because we're in 2021 at this point.
Oh!
Wait,
I was talking about
the
beginning of the TNA World Heavyweight Championship.
April
8th to the 10th, 2020.
I guess so, maybe, yeah, because we've got the championship to the World Heavyweight Championship that Moose brought in was on April, like at the start of April of 2020.
Yeah. The match was supposed to be for the Impact World Championship.
Yeah.
The triple threat match was supposed
Moose unofficially declared himself as the TNA World Heavyweight Championship champion after defeating Hernandez and Michael Elgin in a triple threat match, which was originally scheduled to be for the Impact World Championship. But reigning champion Tessa Blanchard missed the tapings due to COVID-19. The event aired on tape delay. So there you go. Moose was officially sanctioned as the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. He would then lose that championship to Rich Swann, and then that's when the championship got unified. So that's the title history of that championship.
A less than a year. That title existed for less than a year. I mean, they used it as a storyline, and then they got the fuck rid of it as soon as they didn't need it because. Yeah,
and it's just it made things confusing, to be honest. The TNA title was
even
deactivated.
more confusing than having the name changed 3 times in the few years prior.
Yeah, what's even more confusing is your company is now called Impact Wrestling, and you have a championship called the TNA World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's confusing as fuck. But
I think they were realizing that maybe no one actually liked the term TNA had the history. As we'll see, I mean, we'll get to this, but yeah.
So, TNA title was deactivated while the Impact title became briefly known again as the Impact Unified World Championship before reverting back to the Impact World Championship. So then, here comes AEW. So AEW had a working relationship with Impact Wrestling at the time, and they showed everyone how to not have a working relationship.
Yeah. By just having your top guy come in and by having these guys just run over everyone.
Well, yeah, I think the thing that annoyed me about this working relationship and the reason why WWE, NXT, and whatever TNA are doing a much better job of it. Hell, they've signed a contract, it seems, for a few years. Right. The thing that annoyed me about this working relationship is that you would never have Impact stars on AEW television.
Yeah.
They would never have that. You would only have AEW guys rock up to Impact. So therefore, AEW is constantly promoting themselves, but Impact were having no chance to promote themselves on another network to AEW fans.
Yep. Yeah.
And I thought it was just it was a one-sided, lopsided relationship.
Yeah, and as we found, it didn't last long either because they were like, fuck this.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Kenny Omega won the Impact Championship. This was a winner takes all match in which Omega also defended the AEW Championship. Obviously, that was against Rich Swann at Rebellion in 2021.
Mm-hmm. But this was it was a Impact Wrestling event.
It was an Impact Wrestling event, yeah.
Yep.
Where an AEW star won the Impact Championship, yeah. So, yeah, that only lasted 110 days. Then Christian Cage, again, still another AEW star.
Yes, he was AEW at this time.
Yeah, so we've got AEW guy versus another AEW guy on an Impact Wrestling pay-per-view, Rampage.
Well, no, this was this was actually AEW.
Oh, Rampage, yeah, Rampage is so okay, look at that, okay.
But it was their Friday night. It was a Friday night show. So they had the Impact Wrestling, whatever the fuck it's called. At this point.
Yeah. So I guess what we're saying here is that they did defend the Impact Wrestling Championship on an AEW episode of television, but it was against another AEW guy.
Right. It was against another AEW guy. So they still never had an actual TNA Impact wrestler on AEW television.
On AEW. Yeah. What bullshit.
Yeah.
Anyway, Christian Cage would win that championship, hold it for 71 days. And then Josh Alexander would then win the championship from him, Bound for Glory, October 23rd, 2021. Once again, we had the situation. I think it's just a thing now. Alexander voluntarily vacated the X Division Championship in exchange for an Impact World Championship match at the event.
Yeah, I love. I love that idea. I think it's a
great idea.
Yeah, I think that's especially. It's just great for storylines. Like because then you have a guy who never lost the title. He can always come back. Always try to come back for it again. But I just think the idea of being able to relinquish the secondary title for a chance at the main title is pretty fucking cool. Like, cool enough that we might have to consider this into the first non-WWE specific Punks Talk Wrestling Hall of Fame. Maybe it can be a contender for a future Hall of Fame. We've got to see it. I want to see it happen. I want to see it happen in WWE, since we are a WWE centric podcast. Even though
it would be cool. I mean, we said that on the last episode or one before. That it would be cool to see someone hand over the US or Intercontinental Championship in order to get a title shot. I think it would be
be
cool.
Imagine Braun Breaker. Just handing over the IC title and being like,
it's a bargaining shit
for a shot at Gunther. Or or potentially for a shot at Jey Uso after post WrestleMania.
We'll
see. So where are we at? We were at Josh Alexander. Oh yeah, and then he held it for less than a day because.
Wait, hold on. I've lost my page. Where are we?
Well,
shit. Hold on.
Well, you get it back.
Too many tabs.
He voluntarily vacated the X Division champion. He lost it in 10 minutes because Moose invoked his call your shot gauntlet championship privilege, which is, I guess, basically like the Money in the Bank.
Pretty much of
thing.
Impact.
So Josh Alexander has the distinction of being having both the shortest and longest title reign in TNA history, 10 minutes and 335 days.
Right, there you go. Is 335 the longest though?
The longest individual reign, yeah.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I was just I think before him was Sting, AJ Styles, 211 days.
Yeah.
No, Bobby Roode, 256 days. That was your longest before Josh Alexander. So, okay, cool. Look at that.
Yeah. Wait, where do you see Bobby Roode?
Josh Alexander.
Where did you see Bobby Roode at that? Oh, right, because he had Bobby. I'm looking at the chart. He has two title reigns, and they have the combined dates. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
He's right above Josh Alexander. Yep.
Yeah. So, and there could have been probably a longer championship reign, to be honest, but unfortunately, Josh Alexander had to vacate the championship due to a torn tricep.
Yeah, that always sucks.
Then I am perplexed. every single name in this entire championship history I've heard of.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got Steve Macklin.
Steve
Macklin.
Yeah, I believe is the
Never
pronunciation.
fucking heard of this dude in my life.
He's
Steve Cutler.
Yeah, he was Steve Cutler in
I see.
NXT. He was a performance center guy.
Right.
Let's see.
I see.
He
yeah,
was
cool,
also
cool.
he
Okay,
was
cool.
he was also he was a United States Marine, a corporal. Fought in Afghanistan.
Jeez. All right, so.
But yeah, this was Macklin. I don't know much about anything about him right now.
Neither do I.
But he's still TNA. He's still TNA guy.
Yeah, still there now. I mean, he left WWE in 2021, and he won his championship in 2023. So he'd been there a couple of years till this point. Yeah. Anyway, so Steve McLean would then.
I know why we never remember him, because he got lumped in with Jackson Ryder and Wesley Blake in the Forgotten Sons, and kind of everybody wants to forget about that guy.
Yeah. Well, we forgot about the Forgotten Sons.
Yeah.
How apropos. That's 2 times this episode I've said the words apropos.
Yeah.
It's a good. You find it weird that sometimes you don't say a saying for a long time, and then suddenly you have a reason to say it twice in one day. So he only held that championship 54. He won the championship in a tournament. It doesn't actually say, but he defeated Kushida to win the vacant championship at Rebellion in 2023.
Yeah, and wait a second, which is weird. Wasn't Kushida in 2023? Was Kushida already gone from WWE? He had a real short-lived.
Yeah, he wasn't there for very long.
Yeah, where did he fall in? Because Kushida came in through I think he came in through the Cruiserweight Classic stuff too. Maybe
I think he did. Yeah.
Oh no, actually a little before that. He was before that.
He was in the WWE from 2019 till 2022.
Yeah.
And he had a very brief stint. Actually, no, he's still in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Actually,
he's technically
Yeah, but he was in TNA for like 2 years.
Oh, he
2022 to 2024.
Just left TNA in December of last year.
Oh wow, he's only just left then.
Yeah, so he's now New Japan he's just all the way New Japan.
Yeah, back in New Japan all the way. Yeah. Then after a 54-day title reign against all odds, June 9th, 2023, Alex Shelley, who's obviously in the WWE now, as half of the
Do it.
The Motor City Machine Guns.
You got it.
Jesus, it's like, it's a tense moment every time. He would become the Impact Wrestling champion. 280 days, and it was during this title reign that the name of the company was reverted back to the Total Nonstop Action TNA Wrestling.
Yeah, almost just about 2 years ago, which now a lot of it all starts making sense too.
A year ago, it happened in I believe it happened at the very start of the year.
Yeah,
in, 2024.
Because January of 2024, last year's Royal Rumble is when we saw well, wait a second. No, Mickie James was the first one to do it. We saw Jordan Grace entered the Rumble last year as TNA TNA Knockouts champion.
Yeah.
When I know this is a sidebar, but when Mickie James entered the Rumble a previous year, and she held the Knockouts championship as well, but I think it was the Impact. I think it
was Impact at that time, yeah.
I think it might have been Impact. Man. I want to look that up. I just want to look that up real quick to make sure that we've. When was that? Yes, it was. It was the okay. So yeah, it was the 2022. So it was 2 years prior. She had the Impact Knockouts World Championship belt. It was a distinctly different design as well.
Right.
But at this point, we're in January 2024. Jordynne Grace is in the Royal Rumble with the TNA Knockouts Championship, and this has got to be their name change had to have something to do with the upcoming partnership, because you know that this has been going on for like you don't have a partnership like this come into being overnight. Like they had been working on this. They had to have been working on this for a while, and I think part of it was was WWE didn't want to be in a partnership with Impact Wrestling, because Impact Wrestling was in a partnership with AEW. WWE wants to be in a partnership with TNA.
Yeah, I actually, well, it says here, at the conclusion of the Bound for Glory, October 21st, 2023 Impact announced that it would revive the TNA Total Non-Stop Action Wrestling name. From what it sounds is, obviously Impact went through a period where their ratings were low, and it just they looked like they were going to close for a short period of time. Scott D'Amore took hold of the reins, and he managed to build the company back up. And it was actually Scott D'Amore's idea at the time which is crazy to what I get to in a second. It was Scott D'Amore's idea to revert back to the TNA name, because he believed that they needed, in order for them to get back to get back TNA to get back to their old ways, they would need, is to get back to their roots, basically, right?
Yeah, they need to be
the crazy
called
thing
TNA.
about it is, the crazy thing about it is the name change. The name change to TNA took effect January 2024, with the first event under reinstated TNA banner being Hard to Kill. And the crazy thing is, Anthem Sports and Entertainment, who are the ones that own TNA, on February 7th announced that Scott D'Amore's contract with the TNA would be terminated, and he was removed as his position from president of TNA.
Wow.
The crazy thing is, and it sucks, the fact that Scott D'Amore was famous for keeping Impact alive during the COVID era, and he basically brought that company back from obscurity. Mm-hmm. And if it wasn't for him, they wouldn't be where they are now. And the fact that as soon as they brought back the TNA name, and he'd been with that company for such a long time, and then they just fire him like that is just...
Was there any reason? I certainly don't know anything about any of that. Was there a reason? Did something happen?
I don't know. I honestly would have to look into it. But
cut ties with, if anyone knows why, if it's worth mentioning, by all means, let us know. I'm not gonna. I don't want to dig into that now while we're.
Yeah, I don't really know if it was ever really. I think it's obviously quite a private thing. It's just D'Amore was thus fired from his position as president of TNA and was replaced by Anthony Ciccone, whatever. Following his release, D'Amore received praise from wrestlers he worked with, including Moose, Josh Alexander, Jordynne Grace, etc. It happened quite sudden, and it was quite... Yeah, I remember it happening in the time, and it was kind of like... a lot of the roster actually nearly considered striking over it, because it was quite... It was it was unnecessary.
Okay.
There was no reason to release the guy.
That's weird. That's weird.
But they did.
Well,
yeah.
So there's a little controversy there.
Yeah, so he was almost like the sacrificial lamb to bring back TNA to where they are now, which is amazing. But now,
so anyway,
TNA, so back to the Total Non-Stop Action Wrestling Championship. Moose would then win his second championship, again while invoking another clause. This time he invoked his feast or fired world title opportunity.
Yeah, which I love this. I had to look up this match type to the stipulations of it. This is another one of those create a match by combining pieces of other matches, but also this like deal or no deal briefcase kind of situation where it wasn't just like the Money in the Bank, you get the briefcase, that's the one that has the title. This is there was four corners, every corner of the ring had a pole with a numbered briefcase in it, but you didn't know what was in each briefcase. One of them had a title shot, and one of them had a pink slip. And you just fight to grab one, and then once you grab one and leave the ring, you're out of the match. So you have your briefcase that you've secured, but you don't even know what it is that night.
Exactly. It's crazy, right?
And they were given a choice to keep their case or forfeit it, which protected the wrestler from being fired, but also gives up any potential title match. So so interesting. If that was, oh wow, there's been a lot of them too, by the way, from 2007. This is a pretty ongoing thing, but man, this might be actually something worth going back and watching one of these, because we've got, let's see. Oh, look at okay. So some of them they're different. They're different title matches. Only one of them has a pink slip. So Moose got the world title match. Crazy Steve got the digital media title match. Chris Bay. I don't know who he is either.
You don't know Chris Bay?
I don't know Chris Bay. I don't know Chris Bay.
Well, let me quickly tell you. Wow, crazy. Chris Bay was in a tag team in TNA, and last year, very unfortunately, he was in a match.
Oh, he fucking broke his neck.
Yeah, he broke his neck. He was paralyzed from the neck down.
Oh, fuck.
And recently, as of about 2 weeks ago, he'd been kind of silent on social media, and he released a video of him standing up from his chair without assistance.
No shit.
So that's incredible. So yeah, he's been on a long road to recovery. There's been so much like love and outreach for him. In fact, a few weeks ago on Raw, CM Punk was wearing a Chris Bay t-shirt.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
Holy shit! I gotta go back. I gotta go back and look at that. That's Oh, here it is. Career-threatening injury, 2024. Yeah, October 27th, taping of Impact. Bay suffered a legitimate injury during his and Austin's match against the Hardys. Oh, that sucks.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Immediately called off by the referee. He was stretchered. Oh, man. January 21st, 2025, Rob Van Dam gave an update on Bay, stating that Bay suffered a broken neck but was no longer paralyzed. February 13th, Bay posted a video of himself walking and gave an update on his injury, stating he received a C6, C7 neck fusion and a C6, C11 spinal cord fusion. Well, he was only given a 10 to 25% chance of ever walking again. Fuck. Wow.
Yeah, that's why I'm surprised you haven't heard about Chris Bay.
No, I mean...
yeah, he's been all over the wrestling news. It's been a great there's been so many. I mean, smaller wrestling promotions that have like put on events to fund money for his like medical care and everything, which is amazing.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah. Okay, it's all coming together. In fact,
Karrion Kross and Chris Bay trained together. So Karrion Kross is actually going to be on a card for the training school that they trained at. They're putting on a show, and Karrion Kross is going to be wrestling at that event to raise money for Chris Bay as well.
Shit.
So that's also incredible.
That is awesome. Shout out once again.
Yeah.
Well, Jesus. Now I know a lot more than I did before. I'm glad I clicked through it to see what else was in the match, because so it's 3 different title opportunities and 1 pink slip. Whereas I for whatever reason, I thought, I don't know why, I just thought that it was you either get fired, you win a title shot, or nothing. But that makes sense.
That makes total sense. It'd be really cool as well, actually, if if one of those title opportunities was for a tag team championship, but you're a singles guy, which means you'd have to go out and find a partner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
that'd be quite
so
cool.
here's interesting, and this is interesting. Additionally, to note, Moose won a world title shot in 2018 from the same match, but that wasn't the match. So he obviously lost that. I don't know who he would have faced at that time. Probably either Austin Aries or Johnny Impact. So
yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
Moose is a 2-time world title case winner of the Feast or Fired. It all makes sense. It makes more sense because there's a feast. There's 3 opportunities.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, and then Yuya Uemura was the wrestler that got the pink slip case in that match.
Right. Okay.
Yuya Uemura is a New Japan Pro Wrestling guy, and he's a member of Just 4 Guys. Just 4 Guys. I'm just.
That's the name of the group.
The name of the name of the group is Just 4 Guys. J for G. It consists of.
That's such a good name for a fucking faction.
It consists of Douki, Taichi, Yuya Uemura, and Taka Michinoku.
No way.
Yeah, Taka Michinoku is
together. They're just
four guys. They used to be called Just 5 Guys. I guess at one point there was a 5th member.
And luckily he didn't get sued by 5 Guys.
Yeah, Sonata. Sonata was was the additional 5th guy.
I guess you could just constantly no matter how many people you add or get rid of, you just however many people are in that group.
Yeah.
Just 3 guys, just 6 guys.
You know, that was our little Wikipedia rabbit hole for this.
Yeah,
I think we're going to start.
They're great rabbit holes to go down.
You know what?
That's fun, especially professional wrestling.
Oh, jeez, there's so many. You know, that could be a new segment. I'll put one of our demo tracks in the front of this, and make it a new segment. The Wikipedia rabbit hole.
Yeah,
we'll find a better name for it. The Wikipedia wrestling rabbit hole, because even wrestling is a W, but it makes the R sound. WWRH.
Maybe named after the very first time this happened, we should just call it Just 2 Guys on Wikipedia.
The Yuya Uemura rabbit hole. Well, it started from the match. Yeah, I guess we'll figure out if anyone wants to name anyone wants to name this segment. We'll put up something online maybe and see if we can get a good name for this. Anyway, all right, so there you go.
Moose wins his 2nd world title.
Moose.
189 days, and he would lose that championship to Nick Nemeth, also known as Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
In Montreal, Canada at Slammiversary. This is a 6-way elimination match, obviously, with Nick Nemeth, Moose, Josh Alexander, Steve Macklin, Joe Hendry, and Frankie Kazarian.
I actually met Nick Nemeth once. It was at Calmania. It was at the very first Calmania.
Oh shit!
Before shout out to Comedians of Wrestling, current and reigning. Current and reigning, defending? Question mark? Champion?
I mean, if
Super
he wants
Mark
to,
Nick
I guess
Tulo?
he can.
I mean, the title's there. It's on your shelf, buddy. I see it every once in a while. But yeah, man, shout out to Comedians of Wrestling. It's been a long time since I think we've mentioned that. Way back in the early, essentially the Comedians of Wrestling was a podcast started by Dan Black, comedian, and that was one of we became fans of theirs. Well, pre-pandemic, we
pre-pandemic. We were listening to Cal back in 2018. When I came over for SummerSlam.
Yeah, because we threw up the cow. So that was also the day that
with David Arquette.
I met David Arquette. I threw up the cow symbol with David Arquette at SummerSlam. Yeah, man. I literally just saw that photo earlier today when I was moving around some files on my computer.
Yeah, I actually saw it too because it's on our Google Drive, and I saw it, and I was like, oh, look at that.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Nick Nemeth. He I don't think he would have. He won't remember.
Well, actually, I've got my own little Nick Nemeth story. So when he was still Dolph Ziggler, I don't know how this happens, but I was in a bookshop near my mum's house in Shepherd's Bush in West London, and I walk out of this bookshop, and then walk right past me was Dolph Ziggler.
No shit. So you met him too. We both met Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah. How fucking weird is that though? Did you so random.
Did you like recognize him and say anything, or did it like we walk past and like it was too late? He's already like you didn't go back.
It was like I didn't stop him because I saw him. I kind of like came out the door and he was just to the right of me, and then he walked past me to the left, and I was so caught off guard that I didn't quite register because I'm not expecting to see a WWE superstar in my neck of the woods walking around.
Right, they must have been on a European or England tour.
I think it wasn't. It was actually it was around the time of Clash of the Castle, or they were trying to promote it. So I think he was in town to like promote that the tickets were going on sale or something. So
that's awesome.
So fucking random.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I should say probably your interaction with him and my interaction with him is relatively the same. Like we passed each other in the space and like. Nodded. I did like the hey, like didn't say anything. He didn't really say anything to me either. He looked kind of pissed off. But I think that was part of the story. It was part of the storyline. It was part of he was in character. So I believe that's the thing. Either
it wasn't like us. You know, I don't think we've ever mentioned this or spoke about this on the pod before we get to the very last and current TNA champion. But we'll get to. I don't think we've ever spoken about this. The fact that. When we were at the the presser for WrestleMania last year, and we had just got finished, and we were standing there, and you were like
eating
fucking neck deep in a yogurt. Were you eating a yogurt or something?
No, I was eating an apple.
An apple. Yeah. That's it. And then Rey Mysterio comes out of the presser towards us, where we were standing near the door, and he just
says, "Hey guys."
Yeah, and I was like, are you confusing us with someone else?
Yeah, I was so caught off, and I had a mouthful of apple, and I'm like, hey.
Yeah, and he touched, he put out his fist and stuff, and I was like,
yeah, I don't know what that didn't
because
make.
He left. He's walked past so many other people to get towards us, and then he said hello to me and you, and then left.
Yeah, and then just left. It was such a weird thing to happen. I hope someday. Funny enough, equally funny enough, at Calmania, I was wearing my Rey Mysterio mask,
right? Yeah.
Because Rey is one of my guys. Like I've loved Rey Mysterio, and that was one of the. I think it was one of the reasons why I didn't get in the line to interview him. Because he was one of the guys I would have been more nervous to talk to than anyone.
Right.
Because it's Rey fucking Mysterio.
I mean, out of all of the people that were there, like I think Rey was the biggest star there for sure.
Yeah, I mean he's
a Hall of Famer. For
Hall of Famer, multi-time world champion.
Yeah. And nearly a household name. Like everyone knows Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
He's like the most famous luchador in the world.
So that's
but
how weird that Nick Nemeth's story rotates around to Rey Mysterio, and both of them wrap around to the comedians of wrestling.
Yeah, look at that little hub of information.
Yeah.
And then Nick Nemeth, after 183 days, this year, January 19th, 2025, at Genesis, Joe Hendry would finally win the TNA World Championship. And currently on 48 plus days,
just in time for him to be a surprise entrant in this year's Royal Rumble.
That's right. It's almost like they planned it.
It's almost like this stuff is scripted. Like,
yeah.
What?
Who would have thunk it? Yeah, who'd have thunk it?
Yeah, because they certainly couldn't. It is really, really. But come on, how crazy would it have been to see Nick Nemeth as Nick Nemeth with the TNA Championship in the Royal Rumble. I like there are so many ex-WWE guys in TNA right now still that it's so weird. Well, we've got to become. It's got to be working up to a return to Nick's return to something, because it only makes sense because
this is a multi-year contract. So whether that's 2 or 3 or whatever it is, there's so much time to tell all these stories and to have these dream matches. So we ain't got to rush into anything, which is great.
Yeah,
and there's plenty of time for that to happen. So it's going to be cool. And I really, all I hope for is. I just want there to be a Worlds Collide pay-per-view with TNA.
Yeah.
TNA, NXT, WWE crossover. I'd love it.
It makes so much sense to hold off on him too, because he's had such a long career too. But like, we've already got the Hardys that have come back. We've seen Santino Marella come back. We had Fandango showed up in NXT. Yep. But who else? Let's see. Who else is?
Ali there. Mustafa Ali.
Mustafa Ali is there. Matt Cardona. Well, Matt Cardona is Matt Cardona actually signed anywhere? I don't think Matt Cardona's actually signed to anywhere.
I really just think he's like a nomad. He just goes wherever the fuck he wants to.
I think so, yeah. JDC? Oh, yeah, JDC was Fandango.
Right.
Kazarian, Eric Young, Elijah. Who else is there? Oh, Eddie Colon, the Colon brothers, I guess, or at least Eddie Colon, one of them. What was his ring name?
Yeah, the Colons.
He was Primo. Yeah, he was Primo. Primo and Epico.
Yeah, they're both there. Yeah, they're both in TNA.
Brian Myers is in TNA. Yeah. He was AJ Francis. Now, some of these guys had much bigger, varying levels of careers in WWE.
Yeah, of
but
course,
there's a lot of
XW, and the cool, and also, let's not forget, there's a lot of guys more so in WWE that had careers in TNA. Like, I would love.
Yeah,
I want to see AJ Styles has to go and have a match in on Impact, man. It has to happen. It has to happen.
Oh man, you know what else is crazy though? Okay. All right. I've got myself worked up over it already. I got to calm myself because we can still see this happening. My idea could still come to fruition. We now have Joe Hendry, the current TNA World Champion, and I'm assuming by the time this airs, he'll still be the current TNA World Champion. If for some reason by the time this episode airs, he's no longer the champion, I'll put in an addendum like right after this. Pause. Otherwise, we'll just leave that awkward pause in there. We can now see heel John Cena go and take the TNA World Championship from, from Joe Hendry and that would be the biggest heel. Well, I don't know.
Yosh, I mean, you were reaching last week. Now, it's like you're reaching for something. You know, you're in bed and you're reaching for something. It's on your bedside table. And
I literally pulled a muscle just now. Reaching.
You are in the bedroom still, but this time you're reaching for something on the kitchen counter.
Yeah, I got stretch
out of bed.
I got Stretch Armstrong arms. I'm like Mr. Fantastic. I can reach.
You're like Slinky out of Toy Story.
Yeah, I can reach really freaking far with my insane ideas.
I know that to be a fact.
There is a world full of chaos, an alternate reality full of complete chaos, where I have my own wrestling promotion, and I run all of these things, and we see this insanity. But yeah, come on, man. I mean, it would be ridiculous. I don't know how they would. Here's the. I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna do it. But Joe Hendry has said many times that like his dream match would be against John Cena, and it's just because his height of popularity is at such a high right now. I don't know, man. I don't know how they're going to do it.
I'm straight up now. I'm saying it. Like John Cena is going to beat Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, and that's just happening.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he is. You know.
Yeah.
I think it makes.
But because of that, he ain't facing Joe Hendry.
I don't know. Could be champion versus champion somehow.
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't know.
And with that, that's the end of the TNA title championship history.
That is the end of it.
That's everything.
That's everybody.
And while we were doing this, I had a thought. Now, I know that we've these title history things are really fun, and like we've spoken before about doing the NWA championship and stuff. But this is like the third time we've done this now, and we have not done any women's championships.
You're right. That is a disgustingly gross oversight.
And I was thinking the TNA in the brain.
Yeah.
The women's championship goes all the way back to fucking 1956.
Yeah.
And it's got a very confusing history from the women's championship to the Divas championship back to the women's championship.
It sure does.
So that right there, I think, would be a really, really interesting, a very interesting title history to go through.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah,
I think we'll put that on a future episode for sure.
For sure.
I know we've been talking about doing an NWA history of the NWA championship, which would probably be like a 5 or 8 part episode. but I feel like in order to properly do it, we need to first do the history of every other championship that has its ties to the NWA. Because we've done now. I forget. Did we do the ECW? We've done the history of the ECW championship, right?
No, we have not.
No, we didn't. Wow.
Nope.
Why did I feel like we? Why did I think? Well, we got to do that first. I think we got to do that. We certainly got to do the ECW title history first.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll figure that. Well, we'll figure that out. Yeah, if that's it, then shout outs. Shout out to Wikipedia, support Wikipedia. Shout out to Ala2K and Kaylee at 2K UK. Pre-order WWE 2K25. You might not even be able to pre-order it at this point. It's probably going to be out by the time this episode airs. So buy it. WWE 2K25. Buy it.
Oh, they released all the information about the DLC this year. Do you want to hear who's in the DLC?
I do.
In the first pack, coming in May, you got Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin of the Motor City Machine Guns, Julia, Stephanie Vaquer, and a celebrity guest to be announced.
Oh boy!
That's what it says.
Oh boy!
In June, we have Abyss. That's right, TNA's Abyss.
Holy shit!
Yeah, the Great Khali and 3 NBA stars to be announced.
What?
In July, we have New Jack making his WWE game debut.
Really? What?
Jordan Grace. Yeah. Penta.
Why?
Bull Nakano. And a special guest celebrity to be announced.
Why? But, okay, why? Why New Jack? Like, what does he have?
I don't know.
How does he have any... I don't know. Okay.
Then, in September, we have the Attitude Era pack, which is D'Lo Brown, Victoria, Mark Henry, Road Dogg, and Billy Gunn.
Oh shit, Billy Gunn.
Yeah, I don't know what's good.
A guy who's currently signed to
still, so.
Yeah, he's interesting.
So, and in November we have Jesse Ventura, Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, Tito Santana, Junkyard Dog, and Sid Justice.
Damn.
So a lot of A lot of really fucking cool DLC right there.
Yeah, that is pretty rad. That's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Subscribe for free at patreon.com/punkstalkwrestling sports podcast. Also, if you want to, there's some bonus content that's up there. Sometimes when we've got bonus content, we put it up there. Interact with us on social media at Instagram and Threads at Punks Talk Wrestling and YouTube.com/punkstalkwrestling. Email us at punkstalkwrestling@gmail.com. Next week's episode is... I have no idea what next week's episode is going to be because I have no idea where this is going to fall. So find out next week what next week's episode is going to be on Punks Talk Wrestling.
I have no idea, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah. All right. I think we are done then.
I think we're done.
Woo.
How about bye?